Okay, I've gotten a little farther, actually quite a lot farther. What I noticed is that I have to really focus on, remember what I said, how my left leg just wasn't working correctly at all when I came to. The biggest, there was a lot of things about me getting out of bed and not getting out of bed in the hospital until I showed them I could move my feet, my left foot. So what I noticed though, is I really have to focus on is bringing that leg back up when I come up. So it's a lot of work focusing, getting that leg to move quick, that left leg. It's just the left leg doesn't respond like at all, and it probably never ever will unless I teach it. So it is work. I'm sweating, I'm breathing hard out here. Like I said, it's a fast pace for me, so now my body's adjusting to it. It doesn't go back to what I used to be able to run, which is probably a 10-minute to 11-minute mile. On a good day, probably 11-minute mile on a good day. A lot of people say 8 minutes, 7 minutes, they're full of crap. On a good day, probably 11-minute mile, which I could run before. So not even close to that. But the point is that my body has adjusted to this injury, this permanent injury, and it's a workout for me. My heart is beating, so I'm going to continue on this path. I got a long ways to go, but I'm super excited about this, guys. And like I said, it's a weird feeling. The left leg is getting beat, meaning it's weak, and I can feel it. So it's going to be a sore day probably the rest of the week, but you got to do it, man. It's the only way to really make this thing even better, work even better. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Let's keep going and let's see. It's all about being able to get out of bed in the morning without the walker. That's it. Because I still use a walker when I get out of bed in the morning. If I get out of bed in the morning, I'm like, I can't budge this thing at all. And I don't want that. I don't want that, with old age coming so quick. I don't want that. You know what I mean? I got to really work on this, and that's the whole thing. Garbage Minutes 2 wheels here, and I'm out. Let's follow me. And no one likes dry cookies, right? What was that all about? All right, guys.